Hello, my name is Nick Carroll and this is my third Q&A. In this video I'll respond to my PS4 versus Xbox One versus Wii video, and I'll also respond to my Nexus 7 Camaro modification video. Let's go. Okay, here's the first set of comments really. Why the PS4 is better. The controller is more advanced and comfortable, better exclusives / free to play games I guess, more powerful / better hardware, cheaper consoles, PS Plus is cheaper than Xbox Live in every way. The hard drive on the PS4 is upgradable, not on Xbox One. PS4 doesn't require PS Plus to do simple things like watch Netflix or use with the web browser, unlike Xbox One's paywall. The PS4 design is much better and doesn't require a big power brick like the Xbox One. PS4 has remote play with Vita. The included PS4 headset does voice commands, same as Kinect. I can go on and on. I agree with a lot of the points you make here, although I think that over time we're seeing Microsoft reverse a number of these policies, and we're seeing that the console is essentially getting better as time passes. One thing we're going to see is that Microsoft is primarily a software company and secondarily a hardware company. I think that we're going to see a competitive advantage with regard to the operating system and maybe improved features over time. And I think that we're going to see essentially a more sophisticated console, even though it's somewhat less powerful than the PS4. I also think we're going to see slimmer versions of the Xbox over time, and I think we're going to see more improvements to both consoles over time. So I think we're going to see a lot of those disparities in terms of hardware, in terms of size and performance. I think they're going to be a little bit smaller over time. I think both companies are making a renewed focus on games, and I think Microsoft at this point has a little bit better advantage in terms of what games they have available to them. Also, we're seeing things like the paywall fall essentially, and we're seeing more of these services like Netflix, etc., become available without requiring to pay for the subscription. And it's only a $10 difference between the two subscriptions. Lastly, I think that both of these consoles are going to actually increase in speed over time. So maybe 2 or 3 years, we're going to see a faster version of the Xbox One and a faster version of the PS4. I think we're going to see backwards compatibility with both these consoles. So I think that what the situation was 6 months ago when these consoles first came out, I think that we're going to see an evolving situation for both consoles, and I think Microsoft is going to catch up to some extent. Oh, and a couple more points I wanted to make. I'd say that both controllers are fairly comparable at this point in terms of their features and how they look and feel like compared to each other. I think it's a lot more competitive than it was in the last generation. In my opinion, the Xbox 360 controller was quite a bit better than the PS4, the PS3's DualShock controller, at least from my personal point of view. So I think Sony made more ground with the PS4 controller than Microsoft did with their Xbox One controller, the new Xbox controller. But I think that they're both really, really good. So anyways, also the price is now the same for both consoles. The Kinect 2 is no longer a requirement for the Xbox, and there's actually a version of the Xbox that's also $399, just like the PlayStation 4 that doesn't have a camera. But if you're going to compare the two cameras or webcams or whatever, the webcam / sensor that you have with the Kinect 2 is actually a bit better than the PlayStation camera. So that's another couple points for the Xbox. So at this point, the only thing you're really finding in terms of a disparity between these two is the Xbox, subscription is like $10 more, $60 as opposed to $50 for a year, and it's slightly less or somewhat less powerful than the PS4. So those are the two big differentiating points between the two right now, just in my personal opinion. So last year I did a video where I had a Nexus 7 and a case, and I performed a modification that allowed me to use it inside my Camaro. So basically I made a video showing how exactly I did that, how long it took, as well as the price. And a response I got from it was, with this hooked up, exactly what can you do with the Nexus 7? So my particular Nexus 7 does not have LTE or any sort of cellular network compatibility, but the Wi-Fi works just fine. So I would basically tether it to my smartphone and using Bluetooth. Basically, whenever I got in my car, my Bluetooth would synchronize with my Nexus 7, and I could basically, you know, get all the information off the web, essentially off the internet, to this tablet that way. And what I could do is I could put like Google Maps on here. I could play videos. I could play podcasts or listen to music. It's on the tablet, and this is synchronized with my car stereo, so I could basically listen to that. So while I'm driving, I could basically have, you know, the tablet playing all these things and playing at full blast on my car stereo. So I had a pretty awesome experience in my Camaro. Ironically, after owning it for 2 years, I sold it back to the person I bought it from. You know, it's a 1995 Camaro. I bought it for $1,800 and put a little bit of money and time into it. And of course, you know, I got this all going. And after a couple of years, the person who I bought it from, who's a coworker of mine, he basically wanted it back. And I was thinking to myself, you know what, I want to get another car, a newer car. So basically, I sold it back to him for $1,800. So that's kind of ironic. So I no longer have the Camaro that I used with this Nexus 7 modification, but I have the Nexus 7 still, and so that's kind of cool. That'll wrap it up for this miscellaneous Q&A. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.